Hello trainers, we are back this week and we are taking a look at Charizard. Charizard is the evolution of Charmeleon, and we ran into this Charizard in a London roof, and today is a bit of a sunny but also windy day, which are Charizard's favorite weather to be around. So do please mind some of the wind. But before we get started, I just want to say, if you like this kind of videos, do drop a like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when a new one is released. I do try to release these every week, and I do plan on releasing one for every single Pokemon, so this might take a few years. But besides that, we will go ahead and begin. So as you can see, we are taking a look at Charizard, and this is a fire flying Pokemon. I will go into a bit more background on the typing and why it does not have a dragon typing. But for now, let's quickly just get one look at Charizard. The skin covering most of its body is back to the lighter orange that Charmander had. You have two pretty giant wings on this Pokemon. Let's try to get a little bit closer. But you also have the inside of the wings, which is covered in this teal-like color. Most of the inside, aside from the ridges on the corners of the tops of the wings, and as you can see, that goes towards the back. You have the head, which instead of having one horn like it did with Charmeleon, now that has split into two horns, and the furrowed eyebrows had heightened. You now see more of a definition in between its eyes for those furrowed eyebrows, and it's quite, I would say the eyes are a bit blue aqua. There are a few shades of that for the pupil, and of course you have outside of the pupil the white. But you also have this Pokemon with two pretty heavy, thick legs. You can see the definition of the knees right there, and three really sharp claws coming out at the end of each leg. You also have pretty skinny arms on this Pokemon, and three fingers with three sharp claws at the end of each finger. If we get a little bit closer, you can see really sharp fangs at the inside the top of its jaw, and two fangs at the bottom of its jaw, along with its pink tongue. But if we go back a bit, let's see what else we can spot on this Pokemon. It seems to be moving with the wind along with our movements. I do want to get behind this Charizard, which, by the way, is a male Charizard. There are no visible differences between male and female Charizard. So we will still be featuring a few female Charizard as I go through the different forms. I'll make sure to mention that. But as you can see, Charizard does have a pretty long body. You have the much heavier, longer tail at the back, with a big flame coming out of the back like Charmeleon and Charmander had, but this flame is much bigger and much stronger, it seems. You have the bottom of the flame with the yellow, lighter yellow, then it grows darker orange and darker as it gets hotter. Well, actually, I'm not sure if it's hotter at the beginning or at the top of the flame. I believe at the beginning of the flame it would be hottest. You also have the stomach, which is very similar to Charmander and Charmeleon, which is that creamy sand color that follows from the chest all the way down the stomach. the bottom of the tail all the way to the back. And we can also see that with this Charizard, you have the bottom, you can actually see the bottom of the soles of its feet, and you have that cream colored as well. It did show up in Charmeleon, but I forgot to mention that. Whenever he did his growl, of course you would be able to see that. But for now, I think you can just see how great this Charizard is. I'm going to try and get a look behind it, and you can see those wings are pretty big, and you can see the ridges in the wings. From the front and the back, you can see one main ridge as Charizard flaps its wings, and you can see the bone kind of come up in between, in the middle of the wing span. I think we're getting a bit close to those wings, so I'm going to go back to the front, and we're actually getting a bit of drops of rain, which is just like London weather. You have rain with sun and wind, but Charmeleon is enjoying, not Charmeleon, Charizard is enjoying themselves up in the air. Let's get a quick growl. And you can see that those quick movements, of course. And let's just get quickly closer to Charizard. And I don't think I've missed anything on this form. We will be taking a look at the shiny form, the shadow form, and the purified form. This is one of the most popular Pokemon. Again, I will be going over at the second half of this video. But for now, let's go ahead and let this Charizard roam around the city and hopefully not cause any havoc. Alright trainers, we are back, and we are now looking at the shiny female Charizard. This is, like I said before, does not show any differences between male and female, but I want to make sure that we are representing. So I didn't mention this before, but again, as you can see, we are outside in a London rooftop, and in London, so you can see in the far end at the right side of I guess the left wing, under the left wing you can see the Shard, and then on the right wing you can see the London Eye. But do mind some of the city sounds, the traffic sounds. We are out here. It was raining earlier, but now some of the sun came out and it is a bit windy. Do mind the wind, but Charizard is happy around this weather, so we wanted to make sure to film. But aside from that, just look at this really cool, really stunning shiny Charizard. The skin covering most of its body is charcoal black. I would say it's not dark black, but those wings are they're dark red but almost magenta, I would say. The main differences, of course, are the skin covering its body. As you can see, the eyes are about the same color as the wings with different lighter tones. So the cream colored belly that goes all the way to the back remains the same. I would say it's a tiny bit darker, but barely any difference. So now let's just get a quick growl, and I'm going to try to get a view all around Charizard, this shiny form, this beautiful shiny form, and hopefully we can go behind it and all around it. The wings are kind of getting a bit close, so we are taking a look at the back now, and let's just get a quick growl from the back. You can see, get a good view of everything. That strong flame on the tail. This is just a beautiful Pokemon, and just quickly go around it, and we will leave this one here. We will come back with the shadow form of this Pokemon. Okay trainers, as we have lost some of the sun and it's gotten a bit darker, I guess it is a bit befitting of the shadow Charizard showing up to grace our screens. As you can see with other shadow Pokemon, this one has some of the same differences. You have the ominous purple cloud surrounding all of Charizard, and you can see it float up to the sky. I don't think we can get the whole thing in the one frame, but you also have the dark red eyes with, of course, different shades depending on the pupil, if you're looking at that, and going out to the white of the eye. But this is the shadow Charizard. Let's try and get one growl, and I'll try and see if I can look around a bit, but hopefully the wingspan doesn't flap us away. But we're just getting a good overview of this shadow Charizard as much as we can. You can see that the purple cloud comes down all the way to the tail into the fire. And actually, let's see one of the growls. This is a female Charizard, by the way. One of the growls from the back. You can see the wings. It just looks amazing. I can't even fit all of Charizard into the frame, but this is a beautiful, scary Pokemon. We will be going quite a bit into Charizard's nobility and the last part of this video, but I would think that the nobility and some of the restraint that it would probably lose as a shadow Pokemon would just be very scary. And caution trainers if you decide to keep this shadow Charizard around in your team, as it might give you quite a bit of problems in safety and otherwise. So for now, let's get one last growl from this shadow Charizard, and we'll now take a look at the purified form of this Pokemon. Trainers, we are at the end of the Charizard forms. This is the purified form of Charizard. This is the form that has been rescued from Team Go Rocket and been purified. I will be releasing the video that focuses only on shadow and purified Pokemon hopefully this week. I think it might even meet the release of Charizard's video. It's hard to know. I completed it last week, and already there have been new developments with Niantic and Pokémon Go, where there will be a few changes, tweaks, and more shadow Pokemon coming to the game. So I will need to update as I can, as I say in the video. With new developments and new releases, I'll make some more updates. But for now, we are taking a look at this purified Charizard. As you can see, the white cloud surrounding the whole of its body with the little glints of gold all around. Let's get a quick growl, and I'll go ahead and try to go around this Charizard, this male Charizard, and hopefully we will stay safe. Let's get another growl and see that beautiful big wingspan. So let me just go around it towards the back. And I started this video with the sun out, and now it's quite dark and it looks like it might be raining soon, but it is windy and Charizard loves the wind. So we should be ending this video shortly, and what I'll do is I will just go towards the front, and that way we get one last look at this beautiful Pokemon. As I will explain towards the end of this video, there are two forms of Charizard, which would have a shiny and a normal form. And maybe I don't think Shadow and Purified, but They have not been released in Pokemon Go, so we will not be covering them at this point. But I'm excited to come back in the future and do additional videos on this Pokemon, as Charizard is one of my favorite Pokemon. So trainers, thank you for sticking around, and I will now go into further background on Charizard. The official Pokédex entry for this Pokemon reads as follows. Charizard. It's hard to believe, but this massive flame Pokemon evolves from the tiny Charmander. Charizard soars through the air, seeking only worthy foes to test itself against. Its wings can carry this Pokemon close to an altitude of 4,600 feet. Breathing intense hot flames, Charizard spits fire that is hot enough to melt anything, including boulders, glaciers weighing 10,000 tons, and has been known to cause forest fires unintentionally. When expelling a blast of super hot fire, the red flame at the tip of its tail burns more intensely. The temperature of the fire burns hotter as it gains experience in battle. If Charizard becomes furious, the flame at the tip of its tail flares up in a whitish blue color. The flame on its tail is a barometer of how much vitality it has remaining. Its breath inflicts terrible pain on enemies. However, Charizard is a proud Pokemon that never turns its fiery breath on any opponent weaker than itself. Trainers, we will now review Charizard in more detail and delve deeper into its background. With this Pokemon, there is no visible difference between male and female. Charizard, like Charmander and Charmeleon, originates from the Kanto region and can be found in hot, rocky, mountainous areas, volcanoes, and valleys. Charizard may dig dens for themselves and offspring by crushing rocks or blasting the mountainside with flames. In Pokemon Go, it is extremely rare that they spawn in the wild, though this is helped by sunny and windy weather, as well as special limited events, so make sure to pay attention, trainers. Those trainers who successfully protect their vulnerable Charmander and get through the emotionally volatile Charmeleon stage are rightly rewarded with a noble and powerful Charizard on their team. Charizard is completely carnivorous, but has been known to enjoy berries and prepared Pokemon food from Pokemon breeders. Though it is rare when Charizard shows enthusiasm, as this could not be considered to fit with its nobility. Charizard does resemble the stereotypical European dragons, which have heavy associations with the element of fire in folklore. Considering this, it is odd that normal form Charizard are not dragon types. They are fire and flying types, and scientists don't quite know why this is. DNA researchers have found that Charizard in fact have segments of DNA that include dragon type, but are repressed in normal development. In certain circumstances, such as one form of mega evolution, the dragon type segments of DNA come out and replace flying type. Since these mega evolutions are not yet available in Pokemon Go, we will not be covering them today. Charizard require plenty of open space so they can fly freely and dislike humid weather. Their developed wings ease travel in their native mountain-filled volcanic habitats. Trainers must always make sure their Charizard is physically mature enough to support your weight if you want to fly on their backs. Trainers also need to have the right equipment for Charizard so that you can ensure safety for yourself and Charizard when going for a ride. Most Charizard are laid back and will generally leave you alone as long as you don't present a threat. Trainers with a Charizard are advised to pay attention while Charizard is off flying around or exploring in forests, as they have been known to inadvertently start forest fires. This is also why trainers with a Charizard should also have a water Pokemon to counter potential accidents such as this. Male Charizard compete with each other to impress females, often with tests of strength or finesse, although it's not known how female Charizard make their choice. When disputes arise, rather than all-out fight, Charizard engage in tests of strength, as a full-on fight would be detrimental to the species. It is not a good idea for trainers to test the temper of a Charizard. Like a Charmeleon, you will need to earn the respect of a Charizard if you want them to do anything, especially during battle. Charizard is a noble Pokemon and will not obey a trainer they see beneath them. From its razor-sharp claws, strong legs and tail, to its sharp fangs and powerful fire attacks, this is not a Pokemon to mess with. Once you gain their respect, they will be a powerful ally in your Pokemon journey. Trainers are advised to pay attention to the fire at the end of Charizard's tail, especially during battle, as this is a measure of its vitality. This flame is quite strong and has been known to continue burning even underwater. Charizard definitely likes the spotlight and rightly deserves it in many cases. The name Charizard is a portmanteau of the word char, which means to burn, and lizard. Its Japanese name is Lizardon, pronounced Rizardon, which is a combination of lizard and either dragon or don, which is ancient Greek for tooth, commonly used in dinosaur names. My initial thoughts on Charizard from the start were just wow. Ever since my initial introduction to this Pokemon, I wanted one. And from what I remember, so did every other trainer and fan out there. I remember Charizard, aside from Pikachu, was and still is one of the most popular Pokemon, and a favorite of many. From different representations I saw, I understood why Charizard might not listen to a trainer and why, as a trainer, you have to work hard to deserve a Charizard in your team. Taking shortcuts to obtain this Pokemon would always backfire on trainers who were not ready. This research has confirmed some of the assumptions I had, but has also filled in more valuable stuff I was not aware of. The responsibility a trainer must have with this Pokemon family is present from the start with Charmander, but it grows exponentially with each stage. It is good to know that at the end of the line, you have a noble and powerful Pokemon for all your efforts. Also, I like that Charizard is a fair Pokemon that knows its strength and does not abuse it. The relationship a trainer has with their Charizard is very powerful, and the love and commitment is visibly there. It has been great to delve deeper into the background of this Pokemon family line over the last 3 weeks. I think that Charizard exhibits a great range of emotions and growth that can be seen reflected in their trainer for the most part. Charizard will forever be the king and queen of the fire Pokemon and holds a special place in my heart. As I mentioned earlier, there are 2 additional Mega Evolution forms for Charizard that include X and Y that we are not covering today as they are not yet available in Pokémon Go. I am excited to cover them and their shiny forms in the future when released. And speaking of shiny, that reminds me that the shiny form of Charizard is nothing short of amazing. The charcoal black that covers most of its body, together with the dark red inside of its wings, makes for a stunning combination. While I love the gold in the shiny Charmander and Charmeleon, I welcome the change with Charizard, as it just makes them that much more amazing. Okay, trainers, if I missed anything or if you have any thoughts on Charizard, please add them in the comments section below. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when a new video is up. I plan to release one every week with the goal of completing every Pokemon in every generation currently released. Please follow me on Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitter. The handle is @LondonInstinct for updates, posts, and stories. I have been featuring art submissions from trainers around the world, so feel free to submit yours too. See you next week, trainers. Bye.